What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dad Does Videos, coming at you today from my backyard, where we are going to assemble and demo this Black+decker cordless battery operated trimmer slash weed whacker. This is model number LSTE525. Before we get into kind of laying out what's in the box and getting into putting this together, just a few features that are kind of cool for this. The first is this comes with 2 batteries, so I like these battery operated yard tools. You don't have to mess around with gas, you don't have to mess around with oil. The downside though is when you run out of power, then you're done for the day, right? So this is nice, it comes with 2, so if you're doing a lot of work, you can just pop in that new one if your first one runs out. Relatedly, it comes with a switch that you can use a little bit more power or a little bit less power. And what's nice about that is if you have some really thick weeds or maybe a ton of trimming to get through that's a little bit thicker too, you could turn up the juice a little bit to get through that stuff a little easier. But if you have just regular yard work to do and want to maximize the power that you have, you just put it on the lower setting and use as much as you can to get through what you need to get through as well. This also has a push button feeder to feed your line through. Sometimes you have to do some other things with some of these trimmers and weed whackers, so we'll demo how to use that. It's just a button right on top of the tool. So that's a quick intro. Let's open the box and we'll see what's inside and actually get started with the assembly. All right, so a couple other things here. The batteries that come with this trimmer also can be used in a variety of other Black+decker tools. So if you want to expand your horizons and get a bunch of other tools, you can use the batteries that come with this. Also, I did another video, a similar video for a different model of this trimmer. It's the LSTE525, so go ahead and click what's popping up on your screen and you can look at that if that's the one that is interesting to you, or if that's the one that you have and you want to assemble that. Okay, so here is a look inside the box. We've got the actual trimmer right here. We've got the 2 batteries right here. This is the charger for the batteries. We've got our instructions, which, by the way, one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is the instructions aren't that good. But they're there for your reference. And then we've got the guard that fits over the bottom of the trimmer itself. All right, so let's think through the first step here, and no surprise, the first thing you want to do here is charge one of your batteries once you get this thing out of the box, and that's really simple to do. Simply grab one of these batteries, grab the charging station, one end of it, so you can see right there, and it just fits right over top of the battery like that. And then you just, of course, plug in the charger to whatever wall outlet is convenient for you. Okay, so while you have that battery charging, we're going to move on to the second step, and that's going to be to get your guard and just simply remove the screw right here. We're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver and just stick this in the screw and turn left all the way until that screw comes out. All right, let's move along to step 3. We're going to get our guard without the screw in it right now and simply slide onto this tab at the bottom of your trimmer. So you can see here there are some little tabs in place that you want to make sure these go over top of, I guess, the bigger tab that's on the bottom of your trimmer, and just slide it into place until you'll hear it click. Now you'll also notice there is a push tab at the top of the guard here, and then a little hole right here. So this tab will eventually fit into this open slot right here, and that's where we will hear the click, and that's when you know you're ready to go. So I will just go ahead and do that. Hear the click. The tab is into this slot. We're ready to move on to the next step. And for that next step, we're simply going to get our screw that we removed from the guard before and install it back into the guard, right into this little hole right here. So again, we're going to get our Phillips screwdriver, grab our screw, and then twist to the right clockwise until your screw is all the way in. All right, so once you've got that guard secured, we are going to remove this covering from the piece of this equipment that basically cuts off excess spool here, or excess line from your spool, I guess I should say. Sometimes, I'm not sure if you could see it, but it looks like tape or like a little plastic covering over top of this. Sometimes this is really easy to get off. I'm not sure if I can do it, but sometimes it's really hard to kind of finagle your fingers around here. So what I'm going to do is actually remove this whole little piece right here, the whole blade from the trimmer. You just need a smaller Phillips screwdriver and just remove these screws right here. And then your fingers will be able to get in here to take off this tape that's covering, or this kind of protective material that's covering the blade. And as you can see, once you have this off, it's so much easier to then be able to get your fingers around the piece of tape to remove it. And we just are going to then get our screws and put this right back on the way it was already installed. Just like that, we'll just put our screws back in the relevant spots. Next, on the spool, we just simply want to remove this protective tape that's on top right here. And this is just to prevent the line from coming out and kind of wriggling around while this is being shipped and while you're putting things together. So you just take it off just like you would with any other piece of tape. You'll see the line become available. All right, so now we're looking at the top of the trimmer. We are gonna go ahead and put our battery in. Now, you know your battery's charged if on the charger itself, you have this light just stays green. If it's blinking, that means it's still charging. So wait for it to get all the way to staying green the whole time. And then you simply just grab your battery, and we are going to flip it over and insert it right on top, just like this. So you just get it, and then again, it'll click and you just slide it on. All right, so a couple other things I wanted to show you before we actually get started on the demo of actually trimming and then edging. So if you don't like where this handle is placed, and for me, I like it a little bit kind of higher up like this, because it's kind of weird to hold the trimmer like this. I like mine a little bit higher up. There's a button on the side right here. You just push this in, and that allows you to move the handle where you'd like it. So for instance, just push and go like that. And that, at least for me, gives me a better feel and more control over the actual trimmer itself. So another thing, you can extend the trimmer or pull it back depending upon how tall you are. Now, I'm not a tall guy, but I still need this a little bit longer. So as you can see right here, there's a lock signification right there, and then unlock on this side. So what we're gonna do to extend this pull is twist towards the unlock signal like that. And as you can see, we can then extend this out like that. And then of course, we twist it the other way to lock it in place. And of course, you could do that however you feel is appropriate for your height. All right, let's talk a little bit about how to actually use this. So the way to actually turn this thing on, you have to press this button along with the trigger under here. This will not operate, as you can see here, it's a safety feature, if you do not hit both of these at the same time, or at least hold in this one while you're pulling the trigger. Now, once you have it going, you can release this. So I will demonstrate that. So it's just a safety feature up front to make sure you don't mistakenly just happen to hit the trigger button without pushing that in. So the way that I have my trimmer configured right now, it's set up for weed whacking. Hopefully you can see a little bit of taller grass right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that. Nothing to it. All right, so when you are done weed whacking and you want to convert and to do some edging, simple. Look for this piece right here, and as you can see, there's a little arrow on it. You just want to push this down like that and twist. and slide back up. It should automatically go back up, but just make sure, slide it back up. So then, as you can see, when I hold my trimmer slash edger out, it's at a different direction. And then I can go around mulch beds and edge accordingly. That's all there is. Couple more tips. All right, so I talked earlier about determining which power level you want to use, and here's the switch where you can choose which level you want. Mine is on 1 right now just because I'm going to edge all of the mulch beds in my yard, so I want to extend my power as long as I can. Now, if I were going through some thicker weeds, I will press this over to 2, and then it uses more power, but again, drains your battery a little bit more. Over here, we have the line release button. So if you're going along and edging or trimming and you're realizing, especially from an edging standpoint, that there's not enough line coming out, the grass isn't being edged to the extent that you want it, you just press this a couple times and the trimmer will automatically release some additional line and you should be good to go. So we'll try it out as we're going here just to show you what happens. So as you heard, it'll stop, it'll let the line out, and it'll automatically keep going again. All right, one more thing here. As you can see, we've got this little wheel at the bottom of our edger slash trimmer, and this is super useful when you're edging your mulch beds. It basically allows your trimmer to stay in the same spot the whole way around your mulch bed, so you don't have to worry about kind of sinking your trimmer or edger too deep into the grass or the mulch. So as you can see, you just kind of run it along. As you go, and you don't have to worry about the height of your trimmer or holding it in a certain place. It kind of does the work for you.